Andy, congratulations. First round win. Would you just go through the match for us? 3 sets.
Yeah, I mean, it was, well, it was really tricky conditions out there. At the beginning, it was actually okay, but towards the end, it was really getting pretty hot and humid. You know, I thought I did a pretty good job out there. Could have closed some of the sets out quicker, but overall was solid performance.
Okay, thank you. Questions? Yes.
Andy, the fact that you put him away in straights, which you haven't done in the slam for 5 years, I mean, is that something that says something about your game or your mindset, or is it just one of those things?
I don't know, really. To be honest, I mean, I don't know why exactly that's been the case. I mean, obviously, been battling a few things the last few years, but it's obviously nice anytime, especially in those conditions and early on in the slam, to get through in straight sets. I mean, he's a top player, and is probably only getting better as well. So it was a good win for me.
Name and affiliation, please, when you ask your question. Matt, go right ahead.
And Matt Futterman from the New York Times, you were sort of chasing, you said you really desperately wanted to get a seed at a Grand Slam. Is beating a 24 seed sort of the next best thing? If you couldn't get that, do things open up a little bit for you here?
Well, yeah, I mean, essentially I take his spot in the draw now, so yeah, I mean, that's what you have to do if you're unseeded. Is get through some seeds, and I've drawn a lot of them in the slams that I've played in the last few years. Won some of them, obviously lost some as well, but it was not an easy first match, and like I said, did well to get through it.
Gentlemen in the back, if you need to mask up. Okay? You got to mask up in order to be in the room. Sorry. Gentlemen, if you don't have a mask on, you can't stay in the room. Okay? Thank you. Willie, go right ahead.
Willie Weinbaum from ESPN. Andy, obviously, Novak's not here, Roger's not here, but Rafa is, after his abdominal injury and his great start to the season where he got within a couple of matches of 3 straight majors. What are your thoughts about Rafa right now in his career and his maybe big picture legacy?
Well, I mean, he's clearly one of the best players to ever play. He's obviously, his achievements this year have been brilliant. The match to turn the Australian Open around this year was exceptional. He was obviously unfortunate at Wimbledon, but those things happen now at the age that, I mean, I know, having been through my fair share of injuries and stuff, that it's part of the sport, and it's unfortunate when it happens at a stage like that. But I mean, he's obviously still one of the best players in the world on all of the surfaces, as he showed this year.
Thank you guys for doing that. Thank you. Yes.
Andy, Neil McClellan from The Mirror. Just ask about that incident in the first set with the double bounce, what you thought of it at the time, and the way he handled himself at it. And would you like to see VAR in tennis for incidents like that, so the player doesn't have to make that decision? It can be done automatically, as it were.
Yeah. So what he did was brilliant, and I don't think that loads of players on the tour would have done that. So fair play to him, and I said that to him at the net. He didn't have to do that either. And also, I think in those situations, it's sometimes difficult for the player who picks the ball up to know exactly, but the player who's receiving the ball, they know almost immediately the ball when it comes with topspin. In those situations, it's almost always because there's been a double bounce or the ball has been hit into the court, creating the topspin, and immediately. So when the ball came over, I knew that it had bounced twice, and which I'd obviously said to the umpire. And I think there's an argument for it to be used in those situations for sure. But for me, it was clear, and like I said, he didn't need to do that. And yeah, fair play to him for giving me the point.
Eleanor?
Andy, Alan Crook Press Association. You talked a lot before about the cramping issue and everything. I mean, physically, how did you feel out there today? As you say, it was very humid.
I did well. Mentally, it's not easy going into a 5-set match in those conditions after the way the last few weeks have been for me, and I did well. I did well physically and mentally to put that to the back of my mind and find a way to get through. So I was really happy with that.
Okay, go Howard, then Bill, then Chris, then Reem. Howard, okay.
Howard Fendrich with the AP. Andy, wanted to ask you about the match tonight involving Serena Williams. Curious whether you pay any attention to that tonight, given what the significance could be for her, and wanted to ask you your thoughts on her significance and importance on the court and off.
I don't even know what the time is, but yeah, I mean, depending on when I get back, yeah, I'll probably watch. I'll probably watch a bit of it, and then, yeah, I mean, I've spoken about this. I'm sure all the players have been asked about it the last few weeks a bunch, but yeah, I mean, what she's done. Her achievements within the sport are obviously incredible. She will go down as one of the best tennis players to have ever played, if not the best on the women's side. I think also what her and Venus have done is, when you combine the two, is even more remarkable, really, and probably unlikely that we'll see something like that again from two sisters. I think it's really cool that they're playing doubles together. I think that'll be really nice. But yeah, she's obviously had a massive impact on the sport. And you just need to hear, like, I've seen some of the interviews that a lot of the players have done about her to realise that.
Bill?
Congratulations, Bill Simons, Inside Tennis. Obviously, you and Serena both have this incredible willpower, this drive, play doubles together. If the tennis god said, "Hey, Andy, just give us one story about that's fun or interesting about Serena," could you share something with us?
Yeah, she made quite a few funny comments when we were playing doubles together, actually, sort of jokes that I wasn't really expecting. I didn't know her particularly well. I mean, we'd spoken to each other and stuff. Obviously before we went out to play mixed, but I didn't know her that well, and that was something that was actually, it was really nice for me, because I was nervous playing with her, obviously, and I hadn't played loads in the build up to it. And yeah, the fact that she was, well, I felt like she had a good sense of humor anyway, and cracked a few jokes certainly early in the partnership helped me quite a lot. I can't share them in here because they were of that nature, but yeah, I thought that was cool.
Okay, Reem?
Rima Bolel, the National UAE in Eurosport. And Ivan Lendl today posted a tweet with a list of different rules for the coaching that they're introducing here. And he was saying that it's probably going to be very difficult to police, because if it was difficult to police before the hand signals, within these parameters that they're putting right now, it's also difficult to police. I'm curious for you, have you looked at that list? Are you using the coaching? Do you think it's also difficult to keep it within the exact rules that have been stated?
I haven't actually looked at the exact list of what it is. I mean, I had it explained to me by one of the ATP officials. I don't know if the rule is different here, as it's an ITF event. I don't know if the coaching rules are much different. My understanding was that when you're down the same end as your coach, that they're allowed to coach you, that it's not supposed to be a conversation, and that so long as it doesn't disrupt the flow of the match, that it's okay. And from the far side, I mean, I don't know what the rule is, but I don't have hand signals and stuff with my with my coach or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, today Ivan said a few things to me when I went over to get my towel when I was down his end, but the coaching rules are always going to be difficult to police. The one that I don't really understand is why, like, if you have a break in the match, like there's like the heat rule, for example, where you have 10 minutes or something, that you're not allowed to be coached during that time. I feel like you should be able to, if you're allowed to get coached during the match. But apart from that, yeah, it's going to be quite hard to police it. Yeah.
Okay, Chris.
Andy, Chris Otto with US Open. Obviously, Ivan Lendl has had an enormous impact on your career throughout the years. So I just wonder, in this current phase of your relationship, how has it changed, or has it evolved in any way? Is he bringing you something different to you?
I mean, I think it's changed in terms of the way that we've gone about sort of practicing and training. I mean, that's more out of necessity to sort of protect my body and stuff a little bit as I'm older. And, you know, he obviously went through that himself in his career. As you age, you tend to adjust the way that you go about your training methods and everything. But apart from that, no, nothing much has changed since the last time we worked with each other. The very clear, sort of simple points that he makes, and he's very, very clear on the way that I need to play and go about matches if I want to get back up to the top of the game again. And yeah, that hasn't changed in the last few years.
Okay, we have time for a few more. We'll go Mike, 2, 3. Good.
Mike Dixon, the Mail. Yeah, just on the Ivan thing, I thought I spotted him a couple of times saying that was it just well played or come on, or was it actually some kind of technical advice that he was offering?
There was nothing technical, some tactical, but not. Definitely nothing technical mid match. Is maybe, well, I definitely don't think that's the time to be doing anything technically or thinking about technique during a match. But yeah, he was giving me some tactical advice, more in terms of, you know, to see, because my opponent was also struggling a bit physically, and I think sometimes when you're in those conditions, it's quite easy to focus on yourself and how you're feeling, but just to sometimes have a look down the other end and see how, you know, your opponent's getting on. And, you know, he was trying to get me to keep moving him around the court, because he, you know, Ivan felt like physically he was struggling. So I tried to do that, certainly at the beginning of the sets, and managed to get a good lead because of it.
Okay, last 2. 1, 2.
Chris Bowers, US Open Radio. You're next up against Emilio Nava. How much do you know about him, and does it give you a lift to know that he went 5 today against Millman?
Yeah, I actually hit with him a couple of days ago. So, you know, it was good to get on the court with him, because otherwise I saw a little bit of his match today, but, you know, actually being on the court with someone and feeling their shots, you know, is helpful when you don't know loads about them. So yeah, I'll look at some of the video and stuff from the match today, and yeah, I certainly know a lot more than I did a few days ago, that's for sure.
Okay, last question.
James Gray, iNewspaper. Andy, Fran said afterwards, someone asked him about your movement, and he said, well, obviously he might not move as well as he did when he was younger, but that he was really surprised by how well you read the game, and he felt that every time he hit a shot, you were already where he was hitting it. Do you feel you read the game better now than maybe you ever have, or is that too hard to quantify?
No, I mean, I don't think that that's changed much. I think that's always been, yeah, strength of my game, and something that, yeah, I've always been able to rely upon. And yeah, I mean, I don't read every single shot, but once you start to play more matches, get a bit more comfortable with your movement, you know, if you add me, which I do feel like now I'm moving a lot better than I was at this time last year. I've got more matches under my belt, so I'm starting to see things a little bit easier on the match court. That, you know, when you combine the two, it makes quite a big difference to my movement. And yeah, I think I moved pretty well today. I don't think, you know, it was that easy for him to get the ball by me, and he is, you know, he's a big hitter of the ball. He has a big forehand, and yeah, managed to defend pretty well today.